Hi guys, welcome back to All About Sports, the podcast. You guys are joined by a regular host, Mazhar, Aniket, and myself, Shubham. And today we have a very special guest with us. We have Sathiyan Gnanasekaran, who is a top pro. He's a top professional table tennis player, and he's been playing table tennis for many years. A quick short introduction about him. He's currently ranked 38. He was part of the Indian team winning bronze in Junior World Championship in 2011. He's an Arjuna awardee, first Indian to sign with Okayama Rivets in the Japanese Tea League, and he's won lots of medals at the Commonwealth Games and other competitions. It's an absolute pleasure to have you, Satyan. How are you doing?
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. I'm doing great. I mean, I can't say I'm doing great in this kind of pandemic, but yeah, I'm doing fine probably. Yeah.
Well, that's absolutely great, and obviously the Olympics are coming up soon. We are 100% sure that even during these difficult situations, you're trying very hard to stay well prepared for the Olympics. So, without wasting much time, we'll directly jump into your journey. The first thing I'd like to know from you is what made you what was the decision? Like, how did you decide you want to take up TT as a career? Did you try different sports growing up, or were you always passionate about TT? So, can you walk us through that journey a little bit?
I mean, I didn't decide playing table tennis when I was just 5 years old. So, I mean, it was my parents. Though they didn't have any kind of sporting background. I was the first person in my family ever to even try any sport. So, myself and my sister joined table tennis. So, my mother wanted me to put in some kind of an individual sport. And I think one of the big reasons was also that table tennis academy started very close to my house. So she wanted me to engage in some kind of a physical activity just to, just for good health, just to divert our attention from the video games. And I was also kind of very active, hyperactive at my home. So that was the basic reason. And my mom always liked sport. I should say she had a liking for any kind of physical activity, that energy, to channelize the energy. And that's how I started table tennis with Chandrasekhar sir, who recently passed away with COVID. He was my first coach. The Medimix Chandra TT Academy, and that's how it started. So it's just 5 years old, and from there on, I started playing table tennis. And yeah, I mean, after that, it was just from going from strength to strength.
That is some journey. I mean, parents putting kids into sports is always a delight to hear. Satyan, we are very close to the Olympics, so something around that. You participated in the T League. You participated in the Polish League also, where faced international top cadre players. So, what was that experience like? If you could elaborate on that a bit.
I've played several leagues, prior as well. Like I've participated in German league. I think one of the first times I got an opportunity to play in Bundesliga, one of the biggest leagues. And after that, I had to switch. German league was very taxing with the international schedule going on. I think table tennis has a very unique system of having both the international calendar as well as the league system, like how football does. It's like having both worlds of tennis and football together. So it's a very taxing schedule in table tennis. And then I chose that Polish league had a better scheduling there. So I signed with Polish league, but Japan league, I think, was the best thing which happened to me. It's by far the toughest league I've ever played in my career. With all the players I played just ranked above me. You can imagine the level of the league there. And I think it's a great experience playing against the top level players, so professional the way Japan conducts it and very well set up despite a pandemic. I think the great opportunity was playing against the top players, that pressure situations, the energy in the bench and how they deal. You learn a lot from top 10 players on how they prepare for a match, and also getting to train along with them. I think that's the biggest opportunity to train with them during the matches. And also I didn't plan this, that I'll be playing Japan League before the Olympics, but the pandemic struck, and the only good thing that happened was to train in Japan, play the Japanese players in that conditions before the Olympics. So that also really did help me in my preparation, in my mindset heading to the Olympics. I'm more like, I felt a little bit like home probably when I go again to Japan. Coming to Polish league, definitely on the matches part, it's not as big as Japan league with the number of players there, but Polish league was a different kind of an experience where you were kind of a favorite. There's a lot of pressure on you to win a lot of matches. So that was a different pressure there, to take the responsibility of a team, to go along with that. And I think that's also really needed because you will be playing a lot of players who are little closer to you or little lower than you, and that's when you really need to show up courage to bring up that A game. Polish League was fun. I really like the team composition, that spirit in the team. So I think it really helps you in international matches because you become more, open up to the idea of matches, to the handling pressure situations, and it definitely did help during a pandemic when there was no international competitions. The league did help me to perform better and better, and in fact, help me even qualify for the Olympics in a very strong way.
Yep, nine wins was it in the Polish league?
Yeah, I remained unbeaten. So I think that was a great perks. And unfortunately, we lost in the semis. But I think I played superb and remained unbeaten, winning all the 9 matches. The boss was really happy and immediately signed me for the next year.
Okay, I think my next follow up to that question was going to be how this patch of the T League and the Polish League helped you train for the Olympics, but I think that's already fairly covered in your answer. Maz,
Yeah, sure.
I think.
Yeah, I'll take it forward. So Sathiyan, you recently spoke about the difference in tables between India and Europe. So firstly, which one do you prefer? And secondly, how do you prepare for such situations? And does it change your style, your game style as well, in terms of which country you play in? And how do you really, because I mean, it's like when I think of this, when I hear about the tables, people discount all of these things a lot in table tennis. But like in cricket, we all see what a difference a pitch can make. So how big of a factor are these tables as well in table tennis?
Oh, immense. I think, the knowledge, giving comparative study to it's playing like in an Indian pitch and an English pitch, and then it's playing like in clay and grass. So that kind of a difference. But only thing is we don't have seasons like clay season or a grass season. It's just that imagine playing Roland Garros and then the next week you play immediately Wimbledon. It's like how we are programmed to play. So if you ask me, what do I prefer? I don't know. I mean, I've just played continuously. So, I mean, it has its own pros and cons. I would say the Indian tables are really, really fast. So the tables are kind of very spinny, bouncy, and very fast. So you need to have different adaptations mentally there. Of course, not only the tables, the tropical conditions, the heat also makes it, the ball travels very fast and you feel like the ball is coming to you at increased speed. So you need to have kind of shorten your strokes. So there are technical adjustments which you need to make mentally and on the table physically as well, to have a shorter stroke, to be a little more precise in your directions, because you will feel like the ball is coming very fast. And then internationally the bounce is normal. The spin is a little bit lesser and it's really slow. And even some more other tables like Asian tables are kind of mediocre slow, but the European and other little bit tables are very, very slow. You feel many tables are really slow. You feel like the ball is not just coming to you. You really need to move a lot and you need to have a little bit of patience. You need to generate more power. So it's more physical energy playing abroad. Playing abroad, you require a lot of physical energy. You require a lot of core power and strength from your legs to generate that power, because there is no speed as such in the table, or the table doesn't assist you so much. But you require a lot of reflex and a lot of hand-eye coordination at the highest level to play at India. So I think I have played all the time, all the years in Indian tables. So of course, my strength is playing in Indian conditions. You have better connect. We played the Olympic qualifiers in stack tables that I was playing really well. So definitely the strength is where you have practiced. I think that is something becomes your strength. I really like playing here, but in the last few years, it's become difficult for me to play in India, because the more I've practiced abroad, the more conditions you get used to those kind of areas. So it's more fun playing abroad, because you get more rallies. You feel like you are there in the game. You can dictate terms. So there's nothing coming very fast. They need to regulate a little bit with having at least combined seasons. Not many are aware of it. It's super difficult. So mentally, you need to have that switch when you take the flight from India to say Europe, and then you come back. I have played tournaments like in Calcutta, the next day in Russia, then you come back again and you play a tournament in Chennai, and then you go ahead to Japan. So, it's a very difficult scenario to be in, but it's fun. I think that's why We are ready. Table tennis players are mostly adapting to a lot of conditions. And yeah, that's a challenge. I'm going to get another table now for the Olympic table, the Sané table, to get used to the conditions and to make sure that I'm fully prepared for the Olympics.
Who knew this? Who knew this? And this is why we love the fact that we talk to professional athletes, because no one would ever even consider that a table would be different, so significantly different across the globe in a professional sport, that too. My next question is, we saw a video of you recently. Firstly, very fascinating. You're playing against a robot. So do you feel such technology in the sport has further helped your development? And how would you compare it into when training with, let's say, a coach on the other side, or someone actually hitting balls to you? So how has that helped you?
I mean, yes, definitely technology does play a very big role. Robots have been there for quite a long time in table tennis, but this is one of the very advanced robots which has come in the latest, field of table tennis, where it's really close to a human. It can throw 120 balls in a minute. It can have various frequencies. It can have various trajectories, speed, directions, randomized. It can put one ball close to the net, another ball at the baseline. So it was more like imitating a human, and it was more fun. You can have a lot of various exercises, sequences set in it, and I think that really helped. I got it from all the way from Germany. Butterfly helped me with the help of Go Sports Foundation as well, from the Tamil Nadu government, which could procure it all the way there with the customs and everything. And I was really happy to have that. It was one of the saviors during the lockdown, where I could really keep up with the game and continue playing at a decent level. But you asked me if a human can be replaced. No way. I mean, human is always at the top. Anytime if you ask me a player, I would always pick a human. Otherwise, China would be having 1,000 robots and not manufacture 1,000 players. So I mean, humans are something which you give that way that it can't see me how I'm moving, right? I mean, they don't have the feel. So if the opponent sees me moving in one direction, he's going to give me another direction. So that is very much required when you play a one-on-one sport, and that a robot cannot do at any point of time. So I mean, the humans can see you where you're moving. They can read your mind. They can read your game, which is happening very well. So definitely, I would prefer a human. But in this time when there is social distancing, when unfortunately you can't have humans all over you, then robot is helping you. So robot does have its own advantages of that speed, which human can never put. Technicality, speed, footwork, these things can be improved. But the game nuances and the tactics, you definitely need a coach. You definitely need a sparring partners to gel up with. So robot does play a part, but it can never replace humans in the practice area.
It sounds amazing. And I love that you mentioned China, because for us, when we watch them, it's like a robot only, the way they play, the speed at which they play. So
they're very intelligent. It looks like that, but they have a lot of research going, and they have a lot of mechanism which they have made them literally look like robots, but they are actually humans playing with the robot kind of a system.
I'm sure, Sathiyan, honestly, watching you play is also the same for us, but let's be very honest. I just got one more question for you. Given your global exposure, where do you see India ranking against the world in terms of infrastructure? And what more do you think can be done to support the players? I know you've said that you've got a lot of support from the Tamil Nadu government and, and even from Butterfly. So in general, where do you see the domestic scene like in terms of infrastructure?
I mean, in terms of infrastructure, I mean, we have a very, very, very long way to go for sure. The number of stadiums, when I went to China, there were like 100 tables in a stadium, but different floors. Like they have 3 floors of 100 table halls, and they have it in like 15, 16 cities. So it's massive. They have more number of tables. There have been a saying, I don't know, I mean, just for fun, that there's been more number of tables than the players, there. So, I mean, yes, but we don't require at this point of time such massive infrastructure. We can definitely build on that. There is, in the last few years, India has got a sporting ecosystem, that supportive mentality in the society that's come up. So it's going to take some time to build massive infrastructure. It's going to take a lot of money and investments there. But what we can do is to start from the grassroots level, wherever they are training, You can always make them, have a regime. Like just building infrastructure is also not going to help. Many countries do have big infrastructures, but they're not players coming out of it. So they need to have a regime or a education policy which is there, right? So we need to have a sports policy where you have how do you train in a beginner level, how do you train in intermediate level. China has that. They have a syllabus basically how to go about it from level to level. To have a coaches coming together. So we are on the track now. We are having coaches programs and everything. We are building up. But I think, the government is doing a great job. I mean, I have to say, Tamil Nadu government supported me when I was nowhere, when I was 400 in the world from 2012, and I've come to 24. I reached my highest ranking. So that's what is needed to pick that right talent and come up there. And central government has also come up with a target Olympic podium scheme. There are organizations like Go Sports who are also doing a great job. I think the private organizations has to pitch in. So the government is doing a lot, but I think the private organization has to come up and support to have a massive infrastructure. So it's going to be a lot of spending. To build the sporting ecosystem first and then gradually build the infrastructure, we are a very, very long way to go. China started this 60 years back, and then it took them a long time to come this way. So we are there in the last 10, 15 years, but we don't take that much long. I hope we will be superpower very soon, probably in the next decade. And the infrastructure is also getting better. The mindset is getting better. Sports is treated as a profession now and not an extracurricular activity anymore. So I think that's when we really step up the gear and go to the next level.
Satyan, that's such a well composed answer where you can't just look at it as you pour money in and get the results. Satyan, now India has been battling COVID for a while, and you've donated rupees 1 lakh as well right now. With regards to how COVID has impacted your training, could you tell us something about that? How have you kept up with your training and just remaining in touch with the sport?
I mean, very difficult at this point when the people are battling for life. It's kind of really hard. My close ones, my first coach, also passed away due to COVID. It's really hard to keep your mind in the sport when life is at stake. I mean, sport definitely takes a backseat. So, there were a lot of issues. Friends reaching out to me with the support for hospitals, beds. So I definitely prioritized life over any time over table tennis, and that's something which is needed. So there were a lot of difficulties, especially in the second wave when I felt like the COVID was at the doorstep with a lot of people, suffering quite a lot. And I did donate a small amount. I think that was more like a responsibility towards the society, which has actually supported me when I was as a growing athlete and very needed. We even had a funding program for the coaches where the livelihood was affected to support them to come out of the pandemic and not go away from the sport. We could do whatever we could in our in our capacity. Training part, I made sure that I have a routine. So that was the key to pandemic. When you're at home, you wake up late, you kind of really go out of the routine, and then it becomes really difficult to come back to the original plan. So I made a plan. First week was horrible, but then after that I made a plan on I should wake up, I need to do fitness, I need to do yoga, I need to eat these things, I need to practice. If there's no table, probably do something else, physical activity. Okay, add one or two, like for the mental frame to be in a good mindset that you can watch some movies with mom. So that's a luxury to spend time with mom. So I made a plan as well, and then I kept going about it no matter what happens when you're at home, and so that you don't feel like you're out of the blue. And I kept training. I built a small hall, thinking that would be needed. I never thought I would needing it so fast in the second wave, but that's come in handy. I've set up a mini gym at home with a lot of equipments. So trying to cope up and to have at least good training heading to the Olympics despite the lockdown.
Satya, now you are one of the few people who had the pleasure of playing a 9-time Indian champion, right? So what does that feel like where you go up against the best in your country? Like how does that compare with just reaching the pinnacle of the sport where you compete with only the elite?
Oh, definitely, Sharatana. Sharat Kamal is a big name when in table tennis. We've grown up seeing him. 2006, probably I saw him first winning the Commonwealth Games when I was just 13, and then I never thought I would be playing 15 years later alongside him in the Commonwealth Games and the Olympics. So he's still there playing. It's massive. for a person to play 14 finals and then have a million number of Commonwealth medals. You lost count. I mean, it's kind of really good to have a senior like that. It takes a lot of pressure from you. You learn a lot from him, how humble he is, and then he treats you like a friend. Like, you go up, I can go up to him and say directly, Anna, this is not working well in a doubles match. There will be no ego, and he would say, okay, I would change right away my serve. So he gave that freedom for even junior athletes like us, and I think really we are really good friends of the court. This, even though the fact that he's 11 years older to me, he never let that thought sink into us. We gel up as a really good team. I think Sharath has always been as a pioneer, and it was really nice to join that elite crowd. And now it's become a Sharath Sathiyan rivalry for the last few years, and we don't call it rivalry. I think it's fun for the crowd to have such kind of quality matches. So it's been very long, I think, for Indian fans to witness two top 30, top 40 players battling it out in a National Championship final. So that's a great learning for the Indian table tennis players, and the Indian table tennis is definitely progressing. Now we are seen as a big force, the Indian team in the world, and I hope he keeps playing for even a longer time, and we can reach a lot of benchmarks, and a lot of juniors also come in seeing him. And I think we have a long way to go, and it's really hard to match up to his level for his longevity. But he's provided a lot of insights into the game, and a lot of juniors definitely look up to him, including myself. And I hope this journey of him continues for a lot of more years.
Sathiyan, it's firstly very nice to know that you've got a lot of support from, let be the government or Go Sports Foundation or different people along the way, and that support that they've given is clearly visible in your trophy cabinet behind. So that's lovely to know. But also, like you mentioned at the very beginning, you were a super active kid. Your mom wanted you to play an activity. You joined a TT academy. So your parents have also been a big part of this journey. And we know before Rio, you lost your father. So that must have been a very difficult time, I'm sure. But the most important thing for an athlete, what I believe, is being mentally strong. So during that phase, how did you cope up with that phase, maintain your sanity, and put all your efforts into TT? Can you walk us through that a little bit?
I think that was the most difficult phase of not just for me, for the entire family. Dad was literally like the backbone. I mean, he was the one who traveled, even though mom put me in and dad was there. He would literally travel with me with all the matches. He was always there supporting me. Even though I lost, they never worried about whether I won or lost a match. And then they come in, and then they are more like people who really think how I feel. Had you had food? And sometimes dad never asked me what happened in a match. He would did you have lunch? So I was I played a match, and he never asked about that. So he was always worried about the personal well-being. And suddenly what happened was, we never knew. He never had any bad habits. He didn't even have non-veg. He was more like a very active fitness enthusiast. But then, life has its own, conditions or something. So that's when dad left us, after getting diagnosed with cancer. I think we were all taken aback because he was getting better and there was no answers. So I didn't have any sanity, to be frank. At that point, I was completely blank. I came out from a Guwahati tournament, which actually cost me to heading into the Olympic qualifications. Dad would play all the time. Last words were how's Sathiyan and table tennis, and that was only coming out of his mouth. So I really want you to go back to the sport. Don't worry about the family. I am there to support. And I think without her support, without my mom's support, it was definitely not possible to come back to the sport. And I think I played like a second version of Sathiyan there, without thinking about what's going to happen. When you have nothing, kind of things which are sure to happen in life. There is nothing surety in the sport as well. So I just started to forget about the results, started to forget about how am I going to play in the next 2-3 years. So nothing came to my mind. I just played at the moment, and I played fearlessly, aggressively, putting all into the court, and I put all the anger, I should say, out of the world, taking away my dad, into the sport. And that changed me completely as a person, going into taking risks in my life. And that really paid dividends, I should say. My coach always wanted this kind of a version to play that fearless table tennis. And that's when I unleashed my second phase, I could say, I started to climb up the ladder very, very fast. And I wish Dad was there to see my success there, but I'm sure he'll be happy to see the progress of me. And my sisters and my mother, all of them really supported me. The family was there as a backbone, despite losing our number one guy in the family. But yeah, I mean, I think I've learned a lot from that incident. But that's something which will always be as one regret, that Dad is not there with us to see the success of me and my family.
I'm sure wherever your dad will be, he's still supporting you, and he will be very proud with all your achievements. So, like you spoke about your dad, you also mentioned how your first ever coach, you lost him recently with COVID, and recently, I think for quite some time, you've been working with S. Raman. So, can you please tell us about your journey working with him as a coach and how he's managed to improve you further as a player?
Yes, I mean, even though I was with Chandrasekhar sir till from 98 to 2012, he was my childhood coach, my first coach. That transformation from junior to the senior was a big jump, or a leap, I should say. Many of them, evade or go away in that area. But senior is a very different ball game, and that's when Raman sir came in. To step up into my aggressive game. So I was more like a controlled player, a passive player who never liked to miss balls, always wanted to be safe. But he came in with a different approach. He said, you have crossed that period. Now you want to approach in the world level. You really need to be aggressive. You would miss. It's not about playing 100 balls at the table, but it's about playing 3 balls in the table and make sure the 4th doesn't come back. So, so that was a different paradigm shift in the approach. And I started working to the transformation. So you could see the real aggressive play on the court, be it serve, receive, the fitness. He came in with the mental conditioning coach, with the support of Go Sports, then mental conditioning coach, the dietitian. I thought being thin, I can eat whatever I want, but that's not the case with being a sports person. So have a proper regime there. And I think everything worked together. He was more like a mentor, I would say, working from a lot of aspects of the game, taking it from there. And yeah, I mean, really fortunate to have such a disciplined, more disciplined than me, I should say, despite being there, and so determined. He would be there 8 to 10 hours a day, not getting tired. I would be literally tired. He pushed me to the core from day one, and we needed a coach like that, have the depth and knowledge, to have that passion. And he told me that day that when I was 400 in the world, that I would reach top 50. I used to laugh, literally making joke, but then we have gone all the way from even top 25. So really lucky to have him on as the professional side. And I hope with this push and with this determination, working together with him, we can really go a long way, and probably reach the single digit ranking and also the Olympic medal.
We hope so as well, yeah, that you do reach that single digit ranking, win an Olympic for India. So talking about this entire journey of yours, which for you has been the most memorable moment for you in your professional career? And a follow-up question to that is, obviously, other than winning a medal at the Olympics, do you have any other goal for yourself that you would really like to achieve in your career?
Memorable moment, it's really hard to pick one, but if I have to pick one, I think the Asian Games bronze medal win against Japan. I think that was a very defining moment in the Indian table tennis, to have the first win in Asian Games after 60 years, and then winning that last point. It was my first Asian Games as well. So, winning such a massive win at a very crucial juncture, that changed how table tennis was looked upon in the country, as far as also in the global circuit. Yeah, I mean, I would rate that as the very emotional and a very memorable moment. Probably till I win the Olympic medal, that will stay at the top of being the most memorable moment. I think personal goals, of course, family always comes first, and I think I've done a very good, to look after my mother. When she looked after me, it was very needed. 5 years back, it's now the role reversal. I've been looking after her really well, and the family has been as really good as one unit now. Personal goals on the front, probably. To give back to the sport, which has really supported me when it was needed. So I'm always there coaching all the juniors. I really love to have, I don't know if I'll become a coach, that's still a long way from here. But I mean, I would really love to give back to the sport, be it policy decisions, be it coaching, somewhere how I can contribute to the sport, and really make sure that the legacy what Sharath and me and other players are going to have, to continue that legacy. And Indian table tennis probably will be like a China, or do a badminton what Indian badminton has done in the future.
It's amazing. And just the last question that I have for you is, see, talking to you, your story is inspiring on quite a few levels. Qualifying for the Olympics while having an injury, losing your father, but being mentally strong and fighting back. So a lot of athletes, they go through a lot in their career. It can be professional, it can be personal, but they have to remain motivated. So for all the young athletes coming through, what is your word of advice to them, and how would you suggest that they always remain motivated and focused towards the end goal, and irrespective of whatever circumstances they're going through?
Definitely, this is a very, very tough time. I can imagine when a top athlete like me finds it hard to keep it pushing, keep it going, even at Olympics at site. I can imagine the young kids, they must be really devastated with the way the sports has been totally, stopped in many of the places, and with the second wave. The important fact is, the end goal has to be there, but the important way to stay motivated is to have short goals. I think it's really important to have a weekly goal. Probably if you've done 5 push-ups this week, try to do 10 and compete with your friends. That's the smallest way you can really push yourself to stay motivated. That's really important. And the parents has to support them. Enjoy the sport, find new ways. I think now we are sitting idle at home. We have a lot of different areas to work on, to see a lot of videos, to analyze yourself, how you've been as an athlete. I have done it myself. So I do probably play against the wall. I've done it all my childhood. Play against the wall, table tennis, discuss about sport with your this thing. So you'll have to be mentally connected about the sport. So that is really important, even though you're not there physically. Stay mentally connected and enjoy the sport when you get to play. It's not about always about winning. It's about having that winning mindset. That's really important. But you have to enjoy the sport, be passionate about it. There will be difficulties, but there's going to be a very limited span of time for you to push that. And once you lose that opportunity, it's going to be really hard. So just keep enjoying the sport, and I'm sure we have set huge benchmarks. There's a lot of support now from the governments as well, from the parents as well. They are a very important part, and parents have been supporting. So I'm sure the kids will take up sport as a profession, and have a big success in the sport as well. So enjoy, have fun, and keep working hard, persistence, and you will definitely succeed one day.
Those are some amazing words of motivation. I hope everyone listening or watching this, you'll actually follow this, because this is advice from a top athlete. And now, Sathiyan, we'll be moving to a fun round of our segment. That's the rapid fire round. So I'm sure you have an idea what rapid fire is. Quick answers, whatever comes to your head first, just go for it. And yeah, Aniket, you start off.
So Sathiyan, the first question: do you prefer Android or Apple?
Apple.
Okay. Would you prefer lawn tennis or cricket?
Lawn tennis.
Okay. Do you think fitness trackers are overhyped? Yes or no? Like apps to track your goals.
Some apps are hype, but yeah, it's necessary to have it. I think not really. You necessarily have it, yeah.
Okay, Satya, now moving on to a bit more fun. So your favorite actor or actress as may be, and your favorite movie?
Favorite actor, Amir Khan and Kamal Hassan sir. So these are two I think I've done my favorites. Movie, 3 Idiots, Dangal.
So full Amir Khan, we can see that quite clearly.
My all-time favorite, yeah.
Okay, your favorite food, and whether you are vegetarian, non-vegetarian as well.
I'm a complete non-vegetarian, so I do have everything. My favorite food, but I kind of like appam with milk. Mom's appam with milk, it's my favorite, and butter chicken as well. I think these two are my favorite dishes.
Yeah, but still a word of advice, people, if you are professional athletes, watch your butter chicken.
You ask for my favorite food, but then you'll have to keep your tongue aside when you're a sports athlete. So I've given up on a lot of ice cream chocolates. So, but I don't have cravings for anything. You have to really give up your cravings. So, yeah, still if given a choice, I would pick appam with milk, and of course, love to have some butter chicken as well.
Fantastic. One question more for you. The song you've been listening to currently, that's on repeat on your playlist probably right now.
I don't know. I really love this Vati coming from Vijay. You should have heard this Tamil song. So yeah, that's something I also put it on my reels. So yeah, I really like peppy, fast songs to keep me motivated when I'm working out. So yeah, I mean the Vati coming song from Master, the
Master,
Tamil
yes,
movie,
yes,
something which I've been using it.
fantastic.
We were talking about apps, so I want to know from you, which is the app you use the most on your phone?
On my phone app. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, definitely, I think Instagram, that's the most used for sure. And WhatsApp might be more, but I have switched off the notifications, trying my best to avoid. And I decide I go to Instagram only when I decide, not because I get a notification. So that's something which I've been doing for a few years already to keep out of the social media as much as I can.
Makes sense. Your favorite South Indian movie that you'd recommend for everyone to watch?
I mean, I've watched so many movies. I don't know. I mean, it's really hard to pick one. If you ask me,
Don't say
uh,
Bahubali because all of us have seen it already.
which genre you really want is depending on. I watched a very serious genre was Visaranai. So there was a very serious, dark kind of this thing. I really liked that kind of a movie. There are some fun movies as well, Tamil movies. You need to give me time, and I can send you a complete list of what movies you really need. I'm a big movie buff, so yeah.
Yeah, so please send us that list and then we'll watch the movies and then we'll message you on Instagram and you better check the message, okay?
I'll try doing that. Yes, for sure.
Forehand smash or backhand slice?
Forehand smash.
Your most inspiring athlete across sports?
Roger Federer.
Oh, what an answer. Even I think all of us are Roger Federer fans out here.
Yeah, who cannot be?
Mazhar, you have something to say?
Vamos, Rafa. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, Rafa is a great athlete as well. No doubt in it.
No, but inspiring, no doubt. It's still Federer.
I mean, it's
I
just
won't deny
that Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal plays too physical. And I think I'm not in that category. And I don't have a physical build like him for sure. So Roger is more effortless. And I really like that kind of way of playing. And I think that really inspired me. I kind of also played a little bit table tennis like that. So, I've seen Roger for the last 10, 15 years and a lot of emulation on how to make it effortless. So that's the big inspiration I've got from Roger. And still going at age of 40. Amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely. And Sathiyan, it was an absolute pleasure talking to you. We wish you all the best in the Olympics. We really hope that you bring home a medal. And all the best, keeping yourself fit and working hard towards the Olympics. It was a pleasure having you, talking to you. Thank you for sharing your journey, for all the inspirational messages and motivational messages you've given to the youth. And yeah, thank you, man.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was really fun as well. Thank you.